G'day guys, welcome to this week's weekly developer update. I'm CW and joining me we have Armeanio. How are you, mate?
Doing pretty well. How are you this week?
Oh, mate, I'm just full of beans. Just watching the shenanigans going on in the whole industry. We saw certain meme coins sort of go off its head. There's a lot of chatter and all that sort of stuff in the industry about it. So let's discuss meme coins for a little bit.
Yeah, so the industry is evolving from the dog coin to the frog coin, huh?
Yeah, it looks as such.
I don't know, man. Like, to be honest, most memes are just straight rugs, right?
Yeah.
I think everybody can have that experience. Hopefully, learn if that's the case. But then you have to say, okay, in my mind, if you have a coin, whatever it is, or a token, excuse me, that's launched, right? And let's just say it's launched somewhat fairly. It has a cap and it's got liquidity. Is that better or worse than a, coin that's had like a seed round and seeded investors that come in at a super low price? And then you get some, buy some exchange partnerships, get some nice listings, come to market at a multi-billion-dollar valuation, and then these early seed investors have the ability to dump their allocations faster than the emission, right?
Yep.
So the initial coins that are coming to or tokens that are coming to market are from their bags. Yep. Which is worse, right? Because both of them are relatively popular, it seems, and sadly, in my opinion, I would say that at least with a meme coin that's launched, in the right way and has, let's say a hard cap and you don't have to deal with the emissions, that's probably better, assuming that you avoid a rug, than a lot of these early to market shit that just dumps on retail. Yeah. So which is better, which is worse? I don't know. Let the market decide.
Yeah, most definitely. I saw that question, or those questions posed to the community on Twitter, and it definitely sparked an interest in my mind because me personally, I'd take the meme coin over the VC dog shit any day because ultimately they're preying on people's vulnerability in that respect and trying to raise exit liquidity for their own sort of selfish greed, and that does nothing for the industry going forward as well. It just sort of burns people, puts distrust and unfortunately sort of just burns trust within the industry as a whole. Whereas a meme coin, a lot of people know it's a bit of fun. It's like to the moon, Pepe's blah blah blah, and the next one's going to be Pepe Inu and Elon Dog's Pepe, and who knows what's going to come after this one. So there's a little bit of fun and interest in that one, but you see other projects coming to market. Yeah, multi-billion-dollar market caps, instant market liquidity and access across all exchanges. And like you said, exiting by providing their own bags and front-running the circulation supply coming onto the market itself.
Yeah, it's a wild space. I wouldn't call any of this too innovative, but it's the state of the space, man. What can you do? I'll just watch it, and I don't know. It's one of those things. Are you entertained, CW?
Always, mate. Such as a certain little Scotsman in our ecosystem, crypto, baby.
It's crypto, baby. There's nothing like, you just got to sit back and watch. Hopefully people that play with that, manage their risk, trade well, know
your assumptions.
Yeah, it's your money. You do with it whatever you want. That's what I say. That's kind of the point. But it is a matter of trying to understand assumptions there.
Yeah,
and there's a lot in the back end that I'd say the general users don't see. So I would say, at least from my perspective, I would rather go to the casino because the drinks are free.
Very well put. I know where I'd rather be also.
Yeah. All right. Looks like we have Grand Gambit. Looks like they have added Plinko to grandgambit.io, working with implementing Ergo auth system so that users don't have to sign a 0.0001 transaction to confirm it is them using the wallet. That's great to see. Plinko, that's a pretty classic game.
Yeah, nice. Also, Ergo Auth, I haven't seen that come to light in one of the updates or sort of spoken in the ecosystem. So, yeah, it's a nice little sort of underutilized tool there, I think. Next up, we have Luivatra and Paideia beta. So they've added participation-based rewards. It was a bit of an operation, but it's falling into place now. Also has not added any features to the beta, cleaning up the contracts, so plugging potential security vulnerabilities and making them more readable, trying to focus on clear structure and descriptive variable names. It'll take a few days to do this for all the contracts. And in the coming week, they'll deploy the beta, do initial testing, and then start integration with Paideia Web 2. In parallel, we'll invite anyone to start reviewing once the beta contracts are ready. So I'll probably call out on that during next week's dev update. Good to see that moving forward.
Yeah. All right. Next, we have Pulsarz out of baseless again. Great to see. It looks like the SigmaExplorer API, the requests are now cached for 2 minutes. Might add cache clearing when a new block is found on the network in the future, enabled cores so people can use the API on their site. Large performance improvement in all the endpoints. Looks like, for example, all SigmaFi ongoing loans went from 520 milliseconds to 46 milliseconds execution time by searching for unspent boxes and all addresses in parallel. With FleetSharp, added missing functionality in Ergo address class, fixed a bug parsing S-long, which would sometimes return an incorrect value, implemented a full transaction building. Most of the functionality seems to work and is almost on par with Fleet. That's amazing. Yep. Glad to see. Looks like he drops a couple examples. FleetSharp test token, the added all node functionality for signing and submitting transactions. Note, there are no tests yet and no documentation. Use FleetSharp at your own risk. I don't even consider this an alpha version. So we're pre-alpha version. So everybody out there that wants to play with FleetSharp, yeah, have fun, but manage your risk and code well, I guess. And as an exercise to test FleetSharp, I built most of SigmaFi functionality with it. Create order, fill order, cancel order. Works beautifully, tested on mainnet, and then drop some links to mainnet. Right now I'm playing around with testing some Sigma USD functionality with FleetSharp. If there's anybody out there that wants to play with FleetSharp, or as always, documentation is secretly sexy, right? So if you want to hop on and help with documentation for these type of tools, that's an area that you could always help improve the ecosystem.
Yeah, for sure. Big shout out to Pulsarz as well. Me personally, I wouldn't expect this level of sort of ingenuity coming from the amount of substance and discussion that carries on in baseless. So yeah, welcome to the real world outside of baseless and contributing like significantly to the ecosystem. So shout out to Pulsarz.
Awesome.
Yeah. Okay, next up we have greenhat. So on his progress, has finished the tuple expression support in box register values and updated the box register access API. Fixed missing passing tuple expression from base 16 encoded constants. Started implementing of the top up the reward tokens in the pool box from a buyback box. And then next, we'll fix the rest of the newly discovered issues. So number 262, and test the new governance. So simplified voting in the gold erg pool on testnet. grinding away on that front.
Yep. All right, next we have Alex. Looks like the protocol and reference client development update 5.0.10 is released. Created PRs for 5.0.11 and 5.0.12 candidates by reviewing PRs for them. Still polishing last PR for bootstrapping with UTXO set snapshot. GitHub looks like he dropped a link. Both remaining PRs for bootstrapping with UTXO set snapshot are targeted for 5.0.12. So with this release, the new client feature will be available. Then bootstrapping with NepoPals will be in 0.14 and 0.15 release likely, which is a big step forward. Made a merging script pay to remission boxes with re-emission contract boxes. The first transaction is done, waiting for all the pay to re-emission boxes got scanned to issue transactions in bulk. With Dexy, we've fixed the mint condition in free mint script, made testing swaps with a script, the free mint transactions tested. Now we get into a zone where the bank intervention could be tested. So intervention will be tested next.
Awesome. And so I think the UTXO set snapshot and then the NepoPals, like the bootstrapping ability, once they come on board, and it's not too far away, it's going to be a significant increase for viability in the ecosystem by bootstrapping full node security and utilization from like smaller devices and less capable devices. So it'd be interesting to see where that gets utilized in the future.
Yeah, definitely. And it could also make, off-chain infrastructure a lot lighter, potentially. Yeah. So there's a lot of neat stuff that could come out of that.
Yeah, most definitely. Okay, next up we have Morphic, and is working towards Sigma version 5.0.8. So support for Scala.js and further reorg. Part 2 is merged. Support for Scala.js and further reorgs. Part 3 is currently a work in progress. And on to AppKit. Released AppKit version 5.0.2 with Sigma version 5.0.7 and Ergo Wallet version 5.0.10. And then next up, finish the PR towards Sigma 5.0.8 and implement multisig in the AppKit based on ERP11.
All right, next we have MHS with Rosen Bridge. Looks like the public beta is running smoothly without any issue with Rosen chains. Looks like worked on implementing this network package so it can be used at Rosen chains /Ergo package. It is mostly done and only needs some minor changes in code review. We'll probably polish some network packages, including this one, in the upcoming week. With Rosen chains, a new version of Rosen chains, which is needed in guard service refactors released. A document for extending Rosen chains, implementing new chains and new network has been added. With Rosen Bridge, the guard service, the Rosen Bridge token types have been updated and event processor module has been fully refactored. The next module to refactor is the transaction agreement. We're trying to finalize the required apps and tools for watchers and guards in the following weeks. That's going to be pretty important for rolling that out. So that's great to see.
Yep, another significant update on that front. Okay, moving on, we have Captain Nemo and Fleet SDK. So it's added the Fleet SDK /wallet module. So the module will be responsible for key generation and signing. So it's also added a BIP32 HD key generation derivation. It's also BIP39 mnemonic generation and validation. It's just working on the SDK mock chain module for off-chain unit testing contracts on JavaScript and TypeScript environments. And on to Nautilus, reviewed PR 90 from Danza. Scrolling down, just a quick update from Cheese.
All right. So with SigmaFi, that's a big update, even though it's quick.
Yep.
Finished contracts for loan offers, now ready for beta testing. And looks like he's working on auto liquidation bond contracts.
Yeah, well, that is a big update. So basically creating the loan offers, yeah, it's pretty interesting there as well. And then the liquidating of the bonds straight away. At the moment, currently, the lender has the ability to liquidate, not auto liquidate. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you also have to look at the ability for like people to kind of top off their collateral.
Yeah.
Usually that's then kind of the next step, right? Where if I'm about to get liquidated, I need to put more collateral up to prevent that.
Add some more margin there.
Yeah. So that's great to see that evolve. That's big.
There's a little bit of chatter there. And next up, it looks like we have Quokka and SkyHarbor. So the Ergo Pay functions are finished, and Ergo Pay site is now in beta testing. Begun work on an automated the collection creation system. Has created new APIs to receive total volume of the site or specific collection volumes. Also, a while ago, built an NFT verification checking API that takes in a token ID and says if it's from a valid creation on SkyHarbor.
All right. Looks like next we have Krasavice with duckpools. Looks like the interest rate contract, multi-box implementation of interest rate contract has been implemented, significantly increasing the maximum lifespan of lending pools and loans. The site optimization, looks like they've been working on UI optimization with faster load times and responsiveness. And then collateral top-ups, which is what we were just talking about with SigmaFi. So it looks like they've drafted changes to the collateral contract to allow for additional and potentially removal of pledged collateral on an active loan. That's great to see. I hope that those two open source things can work together, because that's a great tool to kind of evolve lending in this ecosystem.
Yeah, most definitely. Interesting as well, having like the ability to on one hand, add collateral, but then also being able to remove. So if your position moves in the positive side, then you can sort of skim some off the top.
I guess you got to look at both sides of it, right?
Yeah. So looks like we have a little update here from Noah on behalf of the Exle team. So forward from that unknown. In general, the V1 is up and running and open to a few now. The front end's waiting on integrating JSON transactions for Nautilus to work before they're pushed to the public. It's a crowdfund for the back end is done, and the front end will look into integrating that next. Kenya has requested the first loan, so Kushti's provided the interest-free loan to them, and there'll be more loans coming. And then finally, it looks like we have analog Ergo.
All right, so with dΣathgripson, analog Ergo fixed bugs with the automatic Solidity contract explorer verification. Implemented the automatic curve point validity checking for the Solidity contract. Is experimenting with contract ABI hashing as a part of the protocol message, so clients using different contracts may be able to detect inconsistency and reject contracts that they do not approve of before attempting to interact with them. Also prevents the need for send the ABI and message, and provides a path for upgrading contracts verifiability. I spent time organizing boilerplate into functions, working on automating Ergo script contract uploading for final round of the swap.
And that sums up the weekly developer update. Lots going on in the ecosystem as usual. It's good to see a number of projects also getting in, taking the next step. So whether it's from alpha to beta or beta to mainnet, it's great to see these projects come to fruition.
Yeah, 2023 seems to be the year where DeFi really starts to get some legs in the Ergo ecosystem. So it's great to see that. With duckpools, with SigmaFi, with Rosen Bridge, there's a lot of, even Dexy. There's a lot of new stuff that's kind of on its march towards mainnet. So I'm excited to see all that roll out. It could be a very different ecosystem in a couple of months, but that tends to kind of be how things evolve. It seems like you just kind of get a wave, right? And then you kind of, everybody has their head down, they're working on something, and then you get another wave. So
yeah,
it's really exciting to see. Like last year, I think the big wave was wallets, right?
Yeah, most definitely.
We saw some great community tools come out, and it looks like this year we're going to see kind of a DeFi wave in the Ergo ecosystem.
Yeah, have the number of projects that you just mentioned, and additional things like Sigma O options, then Gambit continuing to build out by utility, the auction houses, SkyHarbor auction house V3 coming to market. There's lots of things going on in the ecosystem, and even the not so sexy stuff that actually enables the ability for these things to be built, and UTXO set snapshots and nipper powers and all this sort of stuff that isn't necessarily something that you see on the front end that's bright and shiny and laced with chrome and things, but yeah, exactly. So
gonna have to go into baseless and tip my hat to Pulsarz for that one.
Yeah, most definitely, mate. So yeah, welcome out in for a breath of fresh air outside of baseless, and yeah, jump back in there and have some fun, mate. All right, guys. Well, thanks everyone for tuning in once again for this weekly developer update. Joe, it's been a pleasure chatting. So thanks everyone for tuning in.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here.
Take care, everyone.